What's going on, everybody? My name is A2nelito, and I am here with Center Stage Mag. You see it on the hat, and we are doing a sit-down session about my 10 songwriting tips. So I want you guys to stick around because it can help you with your songwriting and the process thereof. Before you even start making music, my first step would be to listen to as much music as you possibly can. And that's very ambitious, so how I would start that out is just asking a friend, hey, what album should I check out? Try a new playlist on Spotify or what have you, and start to get ideas of what music you would want to make, because in my experience with making music, I can trace back to several time periods and several people who have influenced me to make the music that I make now. So that would be step one, listen to everything. Now that you've taken some time to listen to some other music for inspiration, my second step for you would be to clear your mind, whether that's doing some stretches, doing some deep breathing, whatever it is that's going to help relax you into the creative process, because trust me, it will help. Step three. So for me, what I like to do for songs with lyrics is to write the lyrics first. I believe that whatever you write in the lyrical portion of the song is going to heavily dictate how the song actually sounds. Once you finish your song lyrics, you might wonder, what chords do I build this song around, these song lyrics around? So my suggestion would be to start with a cadence of the following chords: 1, 4, and 5. And you can apply that to a simple key such as the key of C, because it has no sharps or flats. So if you're like me though, and you only make instrumental music, then what you can do is skip all the lyrical parts, of course, and just stick to the chord cadence that I had suggested earlier, which again is going to be your tonic, subdominant, and dominant chords for all you music nerds: 1, 4, and 5. And as time goes on, you can explore different keys with these steps, and then try different keys and cadences and things like that. Congratulations, you are now at step 4, and that's super important because these past 3 steps have prepared your mind and prepared everything that you've been doing in your process for getting into what you want to do with your songs. So as you are making your ideas, making your lyrics, making your instrumentals, make sure you save everything as you're recording. Make sure you back up everything as well. And don't think that you have to go to a professional studio to do your stuff, because in this day and age, this phone that I'm recording this video on, I use it for my piano ideas. When I'm sitting at the piano, I'm just sitting there chilling, I just come up with ideas and I just hit record. I don't think twice about it now, because I know that if I think twice about it, then I'm gonna lose that idea that I have. So make sure you save everything, and when I get done with those files, I put it on my computer, I back it up. You don't wanna lose that stuff. Save everything. All right, step 5 is all about being clear to your potential audience, especially for those who are just starting out in your songwriting process. Make sure that you have a very good idea of at least who you're trying to sound like, who you're trying to pay tribute to in your music, so that as people are listening to your music, when you show them in like open mics, when you release them on Spotify, when you put out videos on YouTube, what have you, people can go to these songs and be like, oh, this person reminds me of this. If you have a lot more ambiguous way of showing what kind of style you represent, it's going to be a lot harder for people to latch on. So make sure you have like a good 1 to 3 sources that you cite for your musical inspiration when you're starting out your songwriting. So as you're recording your ideas, you might be at a juncture where you're like, okay, what gear should I get? So here's my advice for this in step 6. First part, don't break the bank. Spend only on bare minimum. Initially, you need to spend wisely on gear. If you're looking for a general place to start as a musician and you don't really know if you're trying to do piano guitar, then my suggestion would be for you to get 2 things: an MPC, which stands for Music Production Center, and a MIDI keyboard. And don't get one of those big MIDI keyboards. You can go for something anywhere from 40 to 60 keys. And if you could do smaller, like 25, I would suggest that as well. But don't break the bank, and try to get some used stuff if you can. Use stuff that still works, not necessarily use stuff that hardly works anymore. As time goes on, you have to understand when to spend more money on your gear. So for instance, a lot of what you will be working on is typically out of a laptop. The laptop that you have is going to be very important because it has to be able to handle the stresses of a digital audio workspace or a DAW. Make sure you have a laptop that can accommodate all of that memory usage and that disk usage that this DAW is going to take. Otherwise, you're going to run into a lot of problems trying to save your work and backing up your work all the while. So knowing how to spend money as time goes on in your songwriting process is just as important as knowing how to spend wisely when you first start out. Here we are in step 7, and this step is all about making sure you get trusted feedback and make sure you get it often. During your songwriting process, it's going to be very important to have somebody close by you who knows where you're trying to go, knows where you are, and can help give you constructive criticism along the way. As I said in step 4, it's important to record and save and back up everything. So as you're going through this process of saving all those files, do not overthink your takes. It's not worth it because it's just you making your music. You can always have time to improve later on. So step 9, my favorite step for a lot of different reasons, but this one is gonna help a lot of you guys out. And that is to release something as regularly as possible. And this is important for many reasons, one of which goes into step 7 when we talked about getting feedback from your friends. But going back to the original point, step 9 is all about making sure that you continue to release music so you can hear feedback, work on your sound, and grow. When I first started production in 2016, my goal was to make 100 days of beats. And that's what I committed to. I just had an MPC and a MIDI keyboard. And in 100 days, I was able to really lock in on what my sound was like as a producer and as a musician. Now, you don't have to necessarily commit to something that large, but this story is meant to give you permission to just go ahead and put out that 60-second cover on Instagram, put out that 30-second original on YouTube or whatever platform that you use so that you can start getting feedback and, more importantly, just release music on a regular basis. Step 10 is all about knowing when to take a break when songwriting. If you feel yourself forcing the ideas, that is probably a good indication that you need to take a break to keep your mind and your ideas fresh for next time. Thank you for making it all the way to the end of this sit-down session presented to you by Center Stage Mag. Really appreciate the opportunity. My name is A2nelito, and these are my 10 songwriting tips that will hopefully help you in your artistic and music journey. Send me a message on my social media. I am primarily on Instagram. My links are on this page. I would love to get into a conversation with you about how these helped you. And I would also like the opportunity to have my music service inspiration for you. The links to my music are also on this page. See you next time.